Welcome, everyone. Hey, Taylor.
Nick.
Hi, Maeve. Good to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet
Welcome.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, glad you're here. Hey, Lindsay. Just gonna wait a minute or two for folks to come in. So if you need water or something, go grab it. Hey, Evie.
Hey,
Hey, welcome.
thank you.
Glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just taking a minute for folks to arrive. So take care of yourselves. Hey, Ben.
Hello.
Justin, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
I
Can you hear me?
can hear you. Yeah, I'm good. How
Got
are
the
you?
camera here. Oh, that's
Minute for folks to trickle in. All right, cool. Think we're good. Let's launch into it, and we may have folks join us as we go. Can you all hear me okay? It's good? Yeah, great. All right. Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Nick. This is our Fierce Love community, and we sometimes bring in other folks to be part of the workshops that we do. So glad you're here, those of you who haven't been here before. Um, this is on the attachment system. The attachment system is what we'll be talking about tonight. Um, Before we get started, I just want to lay a couple ground rules for just where we'll go, because we'll have some group interaction. So the flow tonight will be we're going to do a little intention setting. I'm going to set the context a bit. Then we're going to go into me just like sharing a lot of information with you. Hopefully not in a flood, but like in a way that feels good. And then at the end, we'll have like integration, question, answer. We'll probably have some time for like maybe a breakout room or some group contact. But first, I just want to set some agreements for that. So, three agreements for the space. And I'd love those of you who are on audio, if you're open to come on video, at least for this part. And then also when we're doing like the group connection later. So, first agreement is number one, honoring yourself. So, your boundaries are really welcome and encouraged in this space. If there's anything that doesn't feel good, I super welcome you to follow your no and let me know, and I can help navigate or rearrange if that feels important. Okay, Justin, no worries. Thank you. Number two, to honor others. So confidentiality is the core of this, right? Just like whatever gets spoken here stays here. Um, but also just a culture of respect. Usually I don't expect any issues with that, but care for other people, staying out of advice giving, I would say is the big one. Like if people are sharing, we'll just stay in the realm of like appreciation, resonance, wow, a lot of courage, that kind of thing. Third thing is to lean into your edge. So a lot of this tonight will be informational. This is way less interactive than most of the things that I do. And you'll take the most away from tonight if you find an edge and you just kind of like play with it. You know, you use it as a stretch point rather than a point to back away from. Yeah. Got you, Sarah. That's okay. Thanks for letting me know. Those are the three agreements. Give me like sparkle fingers or like a heart emoji or something if that feels good for everybody. We're all set. Yeah. Great. Okay. Cool. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay. To start, we'll dive into content and information in a moment. But first, let's all just take a breath. Just take a breath arriving here and notice, how am I? And what's it like to arrive here in this space right now for me? Just like a check-in. Hi, body. How are you? And we're gonna take 2 minutes and just feel right now if there's something you'd love to take away from tonight. What would make this the so worth your time having come here? An answer, an experience, an insight. What would you love to take away? Just feel that, write down what you get. You can have more than one thing, nothing too big or too small. And when you get it, write it. The writing is important. It helps to make it like grounded. And we're just going to take 2 minutes where you can just feel, write whatever you come to, sense other things. But by finding this, it makes it infinitely more likely that it will actually happen tonight. Your system will naturally start to gravitate towards what will help you with this intention. Take another like 30 seconds. Anything else that wants to come out? What would you love? Answer, experience, insight. Hmm. Great. Beautiful. Before we get started, or kind of, before we like all the information comes, I'd love to hear from a couple of you. One intention that you have will help me to orient to it.
I can share.
Thanks, Taylor.
Um, I really just want to learn more about my specific attachment style
Yeah.
and how I can better work with it in relation to partnership. Um, I'm actually sitting with a lot of grief right now and how my attachment style showed up in my previous connection and like the yeah, it's just the immense grief of causing unintentional harm. And yeah, I want to do better.
Can we take a breath with you in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just inviting this for all the group. We just all get to take a breath. And if any of you have ever had that experience in partnership of, oh, there was something that I did not see, and I now see it, and I have sadness about that. I had so much love, and something else got in the way that I didn't know. I know that one in myself, Taylor. Yeah. So just breathing here with you, the bigness of that. And thank you for leading and breaking the silence or the start for all of us. Yeah, learning more about attachment style. Beautiful. I'd love one other, an intention. Hey,
I
May.
can go.
Great.
Um, yeah, I want to learn how to be the best version of myself with the tools that I have now and learn new tools and
Mm.
um be more present and grounded in my communication because yeah, I know that not that I'm a problem, but I know that the better you get, the better grounded, the better present you
Mhm.
get, it's towards all yourself in the end. So um,
Yeah.
with others too, but um, so I want to have more foundation. Yeah.
Mm, mm. Gorgeous. Love that. Love appreciating the responsibility, the self-responsibility of both of these shares. Yeah, thank you both. Anyone else? Hey, Maddie,
Hi. I'd love to share my intention.
please.
Um, I'm really interested in learning how to like build secure attachment with myself and like deepen my own self-intimacy. And I feel like
Love
before
that.
getting into like a relationship, like I really want to feel like solid in my own self.
Yeah, amazing. Can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
Do you tend towards anxious or avoidant?
Duh, anxious.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we'll get into that. Mhm. Thank you for that. Yeah, yeah, coming home. Beautiful. Anyone else? It's okay if not, we can get rolling too.
Can I also add something?
Yeah, please do.
Um, I think I also want like insight around, I don't know, well, I guess like de-vilifying the avoidant attachments.
Yeah.
It's just I know, you know, the pain that comes from being on the other side of experiencing somebody with avoidant attachment style, but there's so much vilifying and demonizing around this specific attachment style, and it's hurtful.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
really love you bringing this in. Do you tend avoidant?
I'm disorganized,
Yeah,
but
gorgeous.
I mostly outwardly I'm presenting avoidant, inwardly I'm freaking the fuck out and I'm anxious.
Yeah. And for
Yeah.
everyone, we'll get into what all these like anxious avoidant, what these words mean, if you haven't encountered them before. But yeah, so removing the stigma around avoidance, which I love. Yeah, it's a big thing. And also, all of us have all states inside of us. Evie, you were gonna share.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I think I'm also just having a lot of grief come up lately for the way that my super anxious attachment style just really puts a lot of strain on relationships and makes them almost impossible feeling. And with that, I yeah, tend to do a lot of the anxious avoidant push pull dance thing. And I think my intention is to just help me understand how to integrate that better, or to just to become more secure within myself so that I could go into a partnership more secure. Because when I think about it, I tend to be anxious in all of life as well. So relationships just bring it up a lot more. So I just want to know more about what security can look like, how to attract a secure partner, how to become a secure partner, all of
Does anybody resonate with that?
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go ahead, Evie.
Oh no, that's all. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Let's take a breath together here. As a group in like the humanity of all of this. You know, it's like when we look at anxious avoidant attachment styles, it's like looking at like all the ways, it's like, ooh, yeah, I did that one. You know, that's totally a thing that I do. And so I just let's take a breath of the humanity of this is like we get to hold this together and the sweetness of this group of humans all coming together with the intention of I want to love deeply. And that's the truth. That's the truth of all of this. Like anxious, avoidant, attachment styles in general, they're patterns. It's not who we actually are. It's how we show up when we feel like we're in survival. So the root of this is always, how do I unwind the trigger of I feel like I'm in survival mode right now? And the truth is the love. The truth is the bond. The truth is our connection to ourselves and to others. Yeah. Even though it gets obscured sometimes. Um, yeah. Thank you for naming that, Evie. All of what you all are naming is making me realize in what I'm sharing tonight, I want to tilt it a little because we're going to be looking a lot at we're looking a lot at pattern tonight. We're not looking so much at like grounded, like connected ease, though I will bring that in at times. So I'm just going to make spaces where we get to pause and breathe, and if anybody's getting activated, we get to talk about it. Okay. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm going to share a screen. Okay. Can you all see this document? Somebody give me like thumbs up or something if you've got it. Yeah. Thanks, man. All right. Number one, go fuck this up. This is a map. Maps are not the terrain. It's like a useful, pretty accurate map. My encouragement to all of you would be to experiment and play and to know that relationship is an awakening path. Always. When we are in deep relationship with somebody like Evie, you brought this in gorgeously. You said, I'm noticing I'm also anxious like this in many areas of my life, right? Relationship is the thing that brings up our core stuff, which is so gorgeous. And it also is like very confronting. Deep devotional partnership is an awakening path. And so the fact that all of us have had, or many of us in this room have had partnerships where it was like, wow, that there's a lot that didn't work then, right? It's like the process of awakening that we get to walk in and we get to hold each other in it. It's part of why I really love this community, Fierce Love, is because we get to hold each other together through this, which is important in this kind of because we're healing relationally. If I were to just do a very quick, like 2 sentences for this, I would say avoidance, get messier. Like that would be my directive, get messier. And anxiously attached folks, take a breath and learn what it's like to find safety in your own body. And we'll get in more into what that actually means. So breaking this down, attachment, what we're actually talking about. Attachment styles are states, they're patterns, they're not who we truly are. We all have all of them inside of us. So you're not an anxious person, you're not an avoidant person. It's just a pattern that you tend to have when you feel afraid or hurt. All of this can unwind. The 4 attachment styles. So there's secure attachment, which is, for those of you who know nervous system states, ventral vagal. This is I I feel grounded in me, and we go through hard times sometimes, and that's okay, and we'll work through them. And I trust and I feel grounded in that fact. And this is something that we build over time. Like this is who we are in our core. And we learn how to contact and trust that all will be well. And that comes also, this is where it ties in with the nervous system, is like we learn how to access ventral vagal more and more and more in ourselves. We learn how to unwind our habituated stress responses and come back to safety more and more quickly, which is not the subject of tonight. But we have a recording on that. If for those of you who want that, I can send it to you. So one of the two, anxious and avoidant. Anxious attachment is a drive for connection. It's the concern that if connection is going away from me, it's the concern that connection is going to go away from me, that abandonment will happen. It's a drive for I want to connect and I want to make sure that connection is here. And abandonment does not need to be physical. You could have a wound from a parent who was just emotionally removed. They were just checked out. And your system was just like, where are you? You're physically in front of me. It's almost more confusing that I don't feel you. Right? Like there's like neglect is also a form of abandonment. So the felt sense of anxious attachment is urgency, intensity, looping worry. I have to grab on and cling. I have to get really tight. And also, my safety is out there. My safety is over there in you, and I have to manage you somehow so that the safety will be back here again. That's the fundamental illusion that we're breaking in anxious attachment. It's learning, and this is something that's built over time. Oh, wait, hang on. No, the safety's right here, and I can contact that and feel it. I am okay. There's just like there's a strong outward pulse. Avoidance is the drive for independence. So avoidance had a caregiver who overwhelmed them. So it was like that was me. So my father was an intense figure who had a lot of rage. Right? So it's just like flooded and I had to be like navigating all the time this like really intense environment. And so my system learned that connection equals being overwhelmed and engulfed. Connection is terrifying. So there's a fear of being engulfed of my if I am in connection, myself will vanish. I'm going to be overwhelmed. Super terrifying. If we're like unvillainizing avoidance, like Taylor invited. The core of avoidance is I want to have a self. I don't want to vanish. And I'm doing my best to be in connection without vanishing, and I'm terrified. That's the pattern. So the felt sense of avoidance is pressure, exhaustion, because you're constantly navigating the terror of, I don't know if I can be close, overwhelm, and eventually withdrawal. Avoidance brings a lot of numbing and shutdown because it's like I can't hold all of this. I have to sequester things. It's tied in with dorsal vagal collapse. And last, we have disorganized attachment, which is like when we've had caregivers who bring a lot of intensity of both leaving, but also when they come towards us, it's really intense. So our system kind of disorganized is a rapid switching back and forth between anxious and avoidant. There's like this very quick oscillating in our system. It feels like chaos. It's super confusing. Yeah, just a quick breakdown. And we're gonna just keep building on all of this. We'll like build brick by brick here. History of attachment theory, just very quickly. So it comes from two main people, this guy John Bowlby and this woman Marie Ainsworth. Ainsworth, I don't know how to pronounce it. Bowlby was studying boarding school children in England and looking at the trauma that was created in boys who um, were sent away from their parents. Ainsworth she created this experiment called I think it was the strange encounter experiment. It was this dynamic of a young child with their parent in an experimental room. The parent would come in and then leave. Parent would come in and then leave. And it's a strange environment for the child. And then a stranger would come in and then leave. And then the parent came in and left. And it was watching what did the children do? And they noticed these core patterns of sometimes children would really try to cling and hold on. Sometimes they would just shut down and become totally mute. And disorganized was like some oscillation between the two, very fast. So the value of attachment theory, what it's useful for is it describes a fundamental polarity that happens in our bodies and in relationships around connection and attachment. So it's really valuable to start to like, it helps us track like, oh, this, like fairly accurately in people. It is limited. The limitation of attachment theory is it has this Western model of just like two people, right? It's like figure out attachment between two people or a couple, right? In parent-child, romantic pair. That is a Western nuclear family assumption that lacks a larger sphere of human evolution. So, one of my teachers is like, she's an amazing teacher. Her decolonized view of attachment, her name is Linda Tai. I can send resources to her for those who are interested. That in the past, we all belonged to many people. We were held by a village, caregiving was shared, identity was held within community, and secure attachment wasn't just to my romantic partner, it was also to the land that I live on and the food that I eat and my body and movement and time, right? It's like we develop a secure attachment across all of these spaces. Evie pointed to that when you were like, it seems like this anxiety kind of shows up in all these spots, right? So the thing to know for you is like if you're working this, if you're working anxious or avoiding attachment, you can work it in any relationship of your life. That includes your relationship to food. That includes your relationship to rest. You can just choose one. The core denominator of all of those is you. And it's like finding the golden doorway, right? So it's like, you know what? I think it's rest for me. I'm in a deep rest phase right now, profound rest phase. Um, and learning more deeply, what does it mean for me to just set everything down sometimes and start saying no a lot more? Yeah, we get to we get to play with this across different vectors of life. And that is like it's helpful because part of the challenge of attachment theory is like I need to have a partner to work this out. Or somehow I can work it out inside of me. And that's true. But you can also work it out you can broaden your relationship and you can feel more held when you are in connection. This is very helpful for anxious folks, especially. It's like there are other connections that can regulate me. Build those. Build the connections that regulate you outside of a partnership. And that totally, yes, friendship, but also like animals, also like nature. Have a tree that holds you, right? Like build connections with the non-human world. Super helpful. It's possible to be held. How far can I push the boundary of what can hold me? Joseph Campbell was a mythologist. He spoke about how Plains Indians had no word for it. The only word they had was something like thou, right? It's like everything in the world had an intelligence and was like an honored entity being, right? It's a really different way to move through the world. Like, what is a psyche that grows up in that kind of steeped in that kind of way of orienting? Like, what does attachment look like for that person? Really different. Let's all take a breath. Yeah, just notice your body. Something that is valuable to name in teaching environments like this is a lot of us have trauma around learning. Many of us grew up in school systems where we had to sit for 8 hours a day and be doing low-grade clerical work, for many years of our lives. That's a fairly traumatizing thing for a young one. And so even just being in an environment learning, you may be feeling great, or you may notice there's something in you that just starts to like lock down as I'm talking, starts to get tighter. And like, it's like I'm gonna learn this. I just want to invite like you just get to notice that if it's happening. And it may not be. Take a moment to remember your intention, the thing you want to take away from tonight. And just feel that. What I want to invite for you is if you hold that intention in your heart and just relax and kind of let whatever I say just kind of wash over you, you'll naturally grab tidbits that'll be valuable. You don't have to hold all this with your mind. Hmm. Nervous system lens on attachment. This is very shorthand. And for those of you who don't know working with the nervous system yet, you can totally send me a message after this, and I'm happy to send you a recording about it. Um, but anxious attachment tends towards sympathetic activation, which when we're talking about fight, flight, freeze, it's fight and flight. It's like, I'm going to move, I'm going to do, I'm going to make something happen here. So just very shorthand, what can be helpful for anxious avoidant in yourself, anxious avoidance is when you notice that coming up. The first thing is, can you notice it? The second thing is, how can I move this energy that doesn't require my partner? If your partner's game for it, great. But if they're not ready in that moment, how can I move this? Are there physical actions that I can do that can help to get this energy moving through me? And I can start to find some safety in my sense of power and agency, like chopping firewood, moving, pushing against a wall, going for a hike. Like I can get it to flow through me. Avoidance is dorsal. So that is collapse, freeze flavor. So with avoidance, if an avoidant is really triggered, their journey is more, how can I rehydrate like a sponge? I tend more towards dorsal. So it's like how can I start to just like rehydrate some sense of safety? It's okay for me to be still and I can find some energy in my system again. I'm not like totally zonked. How do I bring energy back into me slowly? Just like lying down, I'm going to drink some tea. I'm going to allow myself to be still and pause and just feel. And then like aliveness can slowly start to percolate back in. Mm. I'm not going to go too much more deeply into nervous system states, I think, right now. I think it will distract us a little, but that's a bit of information. So I think it's helpful. This is not a scientific thing. This is just my own shorthand that I find useful. I think it's helpful to break avoidance and anxious folks into two different camps. So one avoidant type is I am dissociated from my feelings. I don't even know. This is the more intense version is like I don't feel feelings. So when I get triggered, I shut down, but it's like I don't even know what's here. I'm just kind of out and gone. And that looks like intellectualization. It looks like staying really surface level. It looks like I don't know what my body is feeling. And I'm retreating, but I couldn't tell you why or name anything. It's just like I'm just out. Second type is I can feel, but I don't really know how to tell you. Or like it's vague, but like I can get shapes of things that are happening in me. And this will be different depending on how triggered the person is. So like for me, if I'm really triggered by something that my partner has done, um, it's been a learning journey for me to be able to feel and track things in real time and speak them. That's a huge arc to get to that point because it felt so dangerous just to feel it and then to like bring it forwards. Because in my history, when I brought things forwards, they got really attacked. Especially if it was anything that might rock the boat. Anger, sadness, fear. So those became very dangerous things to even notice in myself. So the second type is an avoidant who does have some feeling capacity online. So there's things to work with. And the journey is just like creating enough safety that they choose to bring it forwards and they can start to play and test and see. Yeah. So then in the anxious type, the more intense version is where it's very raw and you get so swept in the pattern that it looks like everything is out, all the safety is outside of you, and I just have to work everything out through that other person. Like the pattern gets so intense that it's really hard to see anything other than that. So there's panic, there's urgency, you tend to get a lot of really intense texting. Second subtype with anxious is like I can know I have fear coming up, but I can recognize that it is a fear of abandonment. I am not totally swept by the pattern. I can name it. I can say to my partner, it looks like all the safety is in you. You know, like it looks like all the problems are out over there in you. Like I'm in that thing. I have the capacity to name that and start and orient towards what will actually help this to regulate. I can make a clear request. I can have a boundary. So there's enough space online to be able to catch it and not hold everything as it's out there in the other person. So this is just a way to think about attachment is there's people some people get big, some people get small. So anxious folks, their emotions tend to get really big. And generally their anxious folks do something of like, I'll try to do it perfect. I'll try to be just right for my avoidant partner. How can I tiptoe? And like hold it, stuff it until it just explodes like a bonfire. So they tend to try to stay small and then get super big. And our goal here, like what we're aiming and avoidance similar. So actually before I go into the goal, like avoidance tend to get small when they are triggered. But in day to day, they might be fairly big with their needs. It's just like there's like less consideration of the other person. So they're like, I need this, I want this, I want to do that, you know? And the anxious partner is like, okay, oh my God. Oh, okay. Are you thinking about me? And then the avoidant person, when triggered, just gets really small, super tight. And our goal is not to get the big partner to have to get smaller or the small partner to have to get bigger immediately. What we want to do, and that's something that may naturally happen over time, but what we want to do is learn how can I bring my bigness in a way that is loving? How can I let it be okay that I'm small in a way that has care? So we want to make both have a degree of safety in what is happening in your system, is what we're trying to create in partnership. How do we do that? And we'll get into like pathways for doing that. But short versions for anxious partners, your bigness is not wrong, your feelings are not too much, your desire and love are not flaws. Big, because you could have anger that's loving. You could have just a ton of big love for this person. You could have big sadness. The it's okay to feel what you are feeling. The issue is when it gets made about the other person. So it's like, you're abandoning me. You always do this. This is your fault. You're a problem. You always. It turns into like character judgment about the other person rather than a behavior just happened. I'm having an emotion. I'm going to breathe with it. It's going to move through me. I am mad at you. I may have a request, or I may have a boundary, or I may have a what the fuck, but I can bring that about the behavior and not about who you are as a person. So it can be, I'm feeling afraid. There's a young part of me here. I want closeness. I want some contact. I want to find a way to have contact. And we're going to be building more and more pathways to navigate rupture and challenge. And we're like going brick by brick. So I'm just laying different flavors as we go. So for avoidant partners, small is not a failure. Small is not a weakness. Small is not disconnection. Small can mean I feel overwhelmed, can mean I want to stay with you, but I don't know how right now, or I need a moment. Always an amazing thing to say for an avoidant partner. I want to stay with you, and I do not know how in this moment. I love you. I need to take some space and breathe. And I will be back. Let's circle back in an hour. Let's circle back tomorrow. Like providing time certainty for your anxious partner. Can we slow this down? Yeah. Can we take a breath? It's different from I'm gone. Yeah. Any questions so far? I'm totally okay if not, but yeah, just want to make a space for a moment if there's anything coming up. Just shout out if you have one. Hmm. Okay, we'll keep going. So I'm going to talk a bit about how to break through to a partner when they're triggered. We'll talk a little bit about as well, like how do I regulate myself? But this is like, okay, my partner is triggered. How do I hold them? They're avoidant, they're pulling away. What do I do? My partner is anxious and they're coming towards really intensely. What do I do about that? How do I hold that with love? So let's say for anxious folks, you have an avoidant partner, which by the way is what just happens, right? Because this is a polarity, if you tend anxious and you get into a partnership with somebody who is more anxious than you will become avoidant. And vice versa, right? It just naturally it magnetizes the thing, right? And we all have both inside of us. So I've had relationships where I was the anxious one. I've had relationships where I was the avoidant one. Avoidance was stronger earlier for me, and then I was like, I don't think I'm anxious, and then I found my anxious layer. It was numb. Um, yeah. So so let's say you tend anxious, and you have an avoidant partner. The first thing before anything else, the thing to know when you're navigating with an avoidant partner, anxious patterns tend to want deeper contact. It's like I want deeper connection, I want deeper contact, I want to feel you, I want more emotional intimacy, I want to be in the depths, touching. And the something that's important for anxious folks to know is to become a safe space for your avoidant partner. How do I become a safe space for a partner who is avoidant? And the way that you do that is by understanding what you're asking for. In asking for more contact, more of them, more emotional intimacy, more vulnerability, more contact, you are asking them to risk an experience of life or death. And I'm not necessarily trying to make that sound grandiose. It's just like that's how it lived in their nervous system. Is like I was flooded when I shared this. So there can be this like, very quick, like just bring it. I want it, right? Like show it. And the thing to know is one, it will be slow. You may sit there for a bit while your partner's like, tuk, 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 what am I feeling? Um, and two, understand what it is that you are asking for. You are not entitled to their emotions just because you're in connection. You don't have a right to their emotional experience. That's really important. And expecting that is not fair. You have to create the space where it can come forwards. And that's on both people. It's not just on you, but I'm just focused on the anxious person right now. The avoidant person absolutely has their own responsibility in this. And it is, and I'm going to say this a little strongly, it is abusive to expect your partner to open their heart to you just because. Because we're in a partnership, you should. People don't open their hearts, and this is like very empowering and helpful. People do not open their hearts because they should, because they're supposed to. People open their hearts because there's love. And the frequency of you should be opening your heart more to me is not loving. It's different from like the different way to approach this is I get to have boundaries. I want a partner who offers emotional intimacy, and I want a partner who wants to be in the journey of that with me. Do you want that, dear one? Okay. Assuming you want that with me, then it's on you to take the risk of sharing, and it's on me to hold a space that is safe enough for you to share. Both. And the way that I create a safe space for you is by coming to you not with entitlement, but with seeing of what's going on, which is there's a wound there. Hey. And I'm not asking you just when I'm asking you for emotional intimacy, I'm not just asking for butterflies and magic. I'm asking you for your anger and your pain and your sadness and your fear. I fucking want all of it. Bring it. And I'm willing to receive all of who you are, including your anger, including the messy bits that you don't quite know how to share. That's a different context for somebody to lean into. Like we have to create a context that somebody is that is a field of love. And I will totally speak to avoidant responsibility in a moment. So don't feel like this is all on you. But this is one layer. Hmm. Okay. So let's say your partner is that avoidant type one, we're calling it. Cannot feel feelings or has a hard time feeling feelings. They're really far away. And I've been that person. So if you're that person, no, there's no shame, it happens. The stance of the more anxious partner is I love you and I want to know you. And something that I want in partnership is emotional intimacy. And if that's not something you want, that's okay. Do you want it? Is that something you want together? Like, I want to connect. I want to know when you're hurting so I can be there with you. I want to be able to bring you my pain and feel held. I want to like amplify our joy together and get bigger. I want to feel you. Are you willing to go on a journey towards feeling? Are you game for this? This is a boundary this is really important to me. So it's not begging. Like one of the ways to try to get an avoidant to open their heart is like, I will beg or collapse in despair or shame you for where you're at. Right. And so those are the three things we're aiming not to do. And if we're coming from a space of love, it's more, I love you and I want all of you. And that's important to me. Is that the kind of partnership that you want to? And if so, okay, great. Let's do it. And probably helpful for you, and maybe, me too in my own spices, but for you to get support that is professional that can help you to deepen into your own emotions, your own self. Like anxious partners get to have boundaries. This is where like this is breaking the cycle for anxious partners of like, I have to martyr myself in order for this to work. I have to tiptoe and sacrifice and be perfect And then eventually I get so worn down by that that I explode. Where like we want to put a silver bullet right through that dynamic. It's like either I explode or I hide or I like tiptoe, right? It's like back and forth, back and forth. The like way through that is I fucking love you and I have desires and boundaries. I fucking love you, I fucking love me. You're so loved and there are things that I do need. Are you willing to meet me? Like you get to hold that line. With an avoidant that has some feeling online, but is like, I don't know if I can share this, or it gets a little hard to feel when I'm triggered. The stance that you can hold is, and also any of these things, right? I'm talking about these are like moments of trigger. How do you be with a moment of a trigger? But these can also be agreements that you make when you both are resourced. That can be a part of this. So it can be like maybe we make an agreement that it's like sometimes, so you have my avoidant partner, my dear avoidant partner, you have feelings. And when we're in moments of conflict, sometimes you kind of vanish and go away. And sometimes you may need to take space, and that's okay. And I would like to be growing towards you can share and we can both be there. And so I want to invite that I regulate myself enough that you can come forwards and that you make the choice to come forwards too. That we don't both collapse into our patterns in that moment. And a part of the invitation is, and obviously like there's so many different contexts and so hard to tailor this exactly to every single context, but it's some version of there is more to you. What else is here? There is more to you than this. I've had partners do this to me in such amazing ways. And they did it, one of them did it with anger, and it was incredible. And I was ready for it. I was ready to receive it. Um, but she was just like, there is more than this. Fucking give. You know, it's pretty fierce love. Yeah. I want your truth. It doesn't need to be perfect. I want your anger. I want your fear. I want your sadness. We've gone through this. So some boundaries for avoidance. It's okay for avoidance to take space, but it must have a time frame. Avoidance don't just vanish and you don't know when they're going to come back. That is abandonment. So part of avoidant responsibility is you don't just vanish. You create a time frame. This is the time. I'll come back. I need to take some space for me. Come back in an hour. Come back, XYZ time. Your anger is welcome. Yeah. Anger equals intimacy. Anger is totally a form of intimacy. Something to be aware of with avoidance is they can do this thing, a perfection game. So it's like, you're like, please give me your truth. And the avoidance, like, I'll give you a little bit, like, I don't like the way you're doing that. And you're not really holding me well there. And I don't feel you're super trustworthy in there. And like, I didn't like that thing over there. They can just like nitpick to death what you're doing. Not every person will do this, but this is a thing that does come up for avoidance, especially when anxious partners are like, okay, I'm ready, give me the thing. And it's like, no, I don't like it. I don't like what you're doing. So for anxious partners, there is a journey of, okay, I will become a safe space. And notice if your partner just like never actually brings you the thing, they just keep nitpicking. That's a pattern. And that's something that you can call out. You can make agreements around that of like, out of a trigger, you can be like, hey, it seems like sometimes this thing might happen. You might just kind of nitpick me to death and you never actually end up sharing what's actually real. I'm going to call that out in the future. I'm going to name that as like, I will do my utmost to show up and be safe and give me a chance. Take a chance. Show me what's here. Yeah. Just like when you see that pattern, don't take it literally. Just go right through it. Not taking it personally. And I'm talking pretty advanced. I'm talking pretty like this is high level, right? To be able to show up like this with a partner. So like you get to take the pieces that resonate for you and then like drop the things that are hard. And I have so deeply failed at all of these things in my life, you know. Yeah, things you can say to an avoidant. I love you, I'm here. I don't need you perfect. Bring me your messy truth. We'll get into this in the end, but one of the like when you have capacity online, you can play with all of these as kink dynamics. Any one of these can be a doorway for play and eros. And that's where they can become spicy. That's like next level tantric. We're gonna blow right through it right into magic. So like one version of this for an anxious partner is you could be like, oh, I'm doing it so wrong, you know, and not in a shaming way, but like a play, if you actually can access play. Any one of these, the trick with like kink here is like any one of these could be super shaming or super freeing, depending on how you hold it in your system. You know, and it's like, I will never get it right. And I want to with all of my heart. It's or it could be like, I want to serve you with my whole being, every piece of you. You know, like what do you desire? How can I be more perfect? Tell me. You know, like you can fuck with it. And sometimes that's a way to just break the pattern. You know, you exaggerate it. You see the role that's playing out and you're like, let me go all the way consciously, intentionally into this role. Okay, I am your servant and all I'm here to do is please you. You know, like you play with it. I'm going to do this section on anxiousness, then we'll take a break. So, breaking through anxiousness. So, your partner is anxious in this case. What do you do? First and foremost, learning how to be a safe space as an avoidant partner is learning how to contact your partner's bigness. It's learning how to give them enough contact that they feel something. Like not completely vanishing, essentially. It's like I'm willing to lean in enough to give you some ground so that your system can relax enough that we can let some things move through. And an amazing way to contact anxious folks is actually with boundaries. So boundaries can be freeing in both directions here. So an anxious partner is needing reassurance. They're needing reality of abandonment is not happening, as long as it actually isn't. They're needing predictability. They're needing warmth. They're needing clarity. I'm going to jump to a section here. Something that can be extremely helpful for anxious partners are relationship agreements. So, relationship agreements are agreements that we craft outside of triggers that are around how do we nourish each other? They're around how do we like what do you love? How can I show up for you more deeply? Which shocking amount of couples don't actually know. Have never actually talked about. They both just assume I know how to nourish my partner. Right. Um, how do we have conflict? What does it look like when you're triggered? How can I hold you in a way that helps you to calm down, which is unique for each person, right? There's themes, but um, what is sexuality like for us? What do you want? What doesn't work for you? Like creating how are we holding money, house, mess, like having agreements around the areas of conflict, super, super, super valuable and can be really helpful. And also it can be really helpful for an anxious system to let down and feel like this person fucking cares about me. They are holding these agreements. These are things that they want together with me. We've talked through it. There's a concrete set of things can be really helpful. So let's say, an anxious partner is triggered. Really, really, really valuable if that partner can see that they are in a pattern. Anxious attachment can be such a rush. It can be really hard to catch that there's a pattern happening because it's such a whoosh and it looks like everything is outside of you that it's very sweeping. So if you can, outside of a trigger, name with your partner what happens for you when you're triggered? What does it look like? Which is also part of relationship agreements. And I'll send you all my relationship agreements template too, the ones I use in relationship. But outside of a trigger, you talk about what does it look like when you're in an anxious attachment spiral? What happens in you? What does it feel like? What are the things that you do? Do you start frantically trying to clean? Do you um, get very fidgety? Do you try to bottle it up and get really silent until it explodes out of you? Like just let's get clear on what behaviorally happens when you're triggered so that I can help to spot it. And we have this agreement for both of us. You can call me if I'm having an avoidant thing happening, and I can call you when you have an anxious thing happening. And where an avoidant partner may, if they see they're in an avoidant spiral, they need to do something like if they need to take space, okay. Like it's like I love you. You just say these words. I love you. I need to take some space, and I will circle back to you in XYZ time frame. Um, an anxious partner, and then an avoidant partner learns over time how to bring their fear into the moment of contact. So it's like better and better and better at, okay, I'm triggered. I kind of want to get small, but I'm going to stay here with you. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to share some of what's here. And that's a muscle that's built over time. And it takes time. And for an avoidant who hasn't like who's still learning, they may be at a stage where it's like, I do need to take space, but I will come back. And an anxious partner needs to understand that that is a part of their journey of coming closer and closer and closer. There's a journey. On the other side, if you're an avoidant, your partner is anxious. Part of the calling in is just we have to name it. We have to name, oh, we think that thing is happening. Right? And like when that a level of trigger is happening, it makes it very hard to try to talk about anything logistical that's going on or like this thing just happened or right. If there's a huge arc of intensity, finding regulation first is very valuable. And it's helpful because anxious partners are going to be very tempted to be like, I'm super triggered, I'm in an anxious spiral, and we need to figure out that thing that just happened. And it's really hard from this mind state to figure anything out in the world because this energy can't actually solve anything because it's so intensely focused on abandonment is going away. What the fuck? So it's valuable if you can have an agreement in your relationship that when that trigger is happening, we come back to regulation first. And then we will totally deal with whatever happened. But we have to come back to ground to some degree. So being able to name it, really valuable. Number two, anxious partners, you can have requests. So you can say, or avoidant partners, you can offer this if it feels available. You can offer some form of contact. So it could be press into my hands, stop talking, and just scream. Just move the energy, get it out. Or yell into the floor. Like just get it flowing. Feel me pressing into you. It could be we sit back to back and you do that. It could be we sit back to back and breathe together and your system just gets to be like, okay, you are not running away. And that could be all your avoidant partner is ready for. Like not ready to talk. I feel like I'm getting small, but I can put my back to yours and breathe with you. I can put my back to yours and hold your hand. Or you can lie on top of me, like but that's as much as I can do. Or for some partners, they're like, that feels like too much, you'll navigate. But some way of providing contact and sometimes taking the mind out of it and just it's just body to body communication can be really helpful. One avenue. Can be really useful for anxious partners also to build relationships with people who can hold them when you're triggered so that your partner isn't the only one holding that energy. And your partner can be growing into that, but having humans in your life who you can say, SOS, I'm in a big spiral. Will you breathe with me? And somebody who's not going to feed into like your partner's a terrible person, but can like, right, that's key, but can be there and be like, right here with you, breathing with you, you know, like I can be a regulating presence for you. Or somebody professional too. Always an option there. Okay. Boundaries that help anxious partners. Just noticing and naming the anxious energy. It's just like, hey, I think that thing's happening. Can we get on the same page about that? Number two, that the anxious partner feels what is happening in their body. The jumping out happens for an anxious partner because there's feelings that they're feeling that feel too big. And so it's like, I'm going to get away from those by going into you. I'm going to get out of these feelings by being over there in you. And so the avoidant partner, it is okay to have a boundary of this is not all me, like feel. This is where the dynamic becomes very paradoxical and strange because you have an avoidant partner telling the anxious partner to feel their feelings, right? Both partners aren't feeling their feelings when they're triggered. They're just doing a different version of I don't know how to be with this. One is numbing, one is saying the problem is over there in somebody else. So if we're de-villainizing avoidant attachment and anxious attachment both, right? It's like, remember when you told me to feel my feelings? Please feel your feelings, right? Please feel the sadness that is underneath this rage. Please feel the fear that is happening inside of your body that is not all about me, but is about something that happened way long ago. Bring it. Bring what's true here, right? That's the request always. It's like, bring me what's true. Don't bring me how I'm a terrible person. Hmm. Another boundary, this is related, but no character attacks. Just generally, this is a red rule in relationships. No breaking up when you're feeling triggered. No character attacks. Character attacks being shame, being you're a terrible partner. You never, you always, XYZ. Um, you're an idiot, whatever it is. Like it's attacking who the person is, which is always counterproductive, never helps anything, versus like you get to have anger. This is not like that's shame. Anger is like, hey, that thing you did really hurt. What the fuck? I love you. You can do better than that. Don't do that again. Right? Like it's a distinction. And also, you can call out like part of the naming of anxious energy is um, it's calling out the hungry ghost that is in anxiously attached patterned people. So some of you may know the metaphor of the hungry ghost. It's a Buddhist metaphor. There are these spirits that have huge bellies and tiny throats. So they're starving all the time, but they can only eat like a piece of rice at a time. It's a hell realm all these like super big bellied folks who have tiny throats and they're just wandering around trying to get enough food. But very useful psyche metaphor. Anxiously attached folks are like that. It's like, give me the fucking connection, but I can't actually let it in. Bring it. But I'm so busy saying bring it that I don't actually ever experience it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So an avoidant partner calling you in on that is a very loving thing to do, to be like, you're hungry ghosting. Like you have to actually let it in. This will not get you what you want. You know, there is a degree of like, calm the fuck down. Right. And I say that, that's not always the tone to take. Probably often it isn't. I'm like being a little playful with it right now, having been on both sides of this dynamic. Right. But it is helpful to have an avoidant partner who says, you have to come back to yourself to some degree. Come back to what you feel so that we can actually create the experience that you want. Like a really awakened version of this is like, I want to give you what you want, and it's not going to get through to you like this. I love you. Hmm. Okay. We'll do some internal pieces and then we'll take question and answer. But let's take like a 3-minute break first. Actually, first, let's take if there are questions. Let's take a 3-minute break and then we'll come back. So the 16-minute mark. Hmm. Yeah, everyone. We all back. Yeah, cool. Hmm. Let's just take a breath together. Ah, any questions so far?
Yeah, one
Uh,
that came to mind for me, um, talking through all of the solutions and breaking through to anxious or breaking through to avoidant.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of more of a zoomed out picture, though. Uh, it's very optimistic, like the solutions and the techniques. In certain situations, I would imagine, both people are trying this, and in some cases, it's not working. You
Hmm.
find like, yeah, okay, you're gonna start, one person starts to open up more, and that creates a lot of chaos. And
Hmm.
truths come out and like reality check to the relationship. Um, and I guess I'm trying to think of like what the question is. Um, I would imagine like if you're going through this process, and trying these different things, I guess in your opinion, at what point do you just say, okay, we're trying this is, and we're opening up, but it's actually looking like we shouldn't continue the connection. Like what do you think that would look like?
Hmm. Like, when's the point where you say enough is enough?
Yeah, I mean, you're like, let's say not every relationship is going to work out, even if both people are trying these strategies. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good question.
yeah, I know it's like
No,
like
it's
I think
such
they're really powerful techniques, but like I guess that's the lingering question I have in my mind.
any yeah, very, very true. And all of these are they're like these are big things to try to do in a relationship. Like it's a pretty high shot to try to do any one of these. It's significant. And it asks having done work to be able to hold a different space and to I mean, I know in relationships I've been in, like, I was so triggered that trying to do any of these was so hard, and I was hitting my blind spots so hard, even when I tried to implement anything that could be really amazing in theory. I've seen both sides. I've had it work amazingly. I've also seen, yeah. Um, a couple of things. Number one, and I'm going to expand your question a little bit. Number one, something I haven't named is it is really valuable to have third party support with this. Like whoever it is, somebody in the world who can hold a couple in their blind spots, especially when you're navigating, if there's an intense dynamic like this going on, somebody who can call the avoidant partner back in without it being the partner who triggers them, and somebody who can also call the anxious partner out of the spiral is so helpful. So helpful. That is one thing. Definitely something to give a try if you're like, have we hit the point of enough is enough? And then as far as your question of like, when is enough enough? I guess there's a couple things I would point to. One is, are you seeing changes? And is it enough change that it makes your heart happy? Like, is there growth happening? Another way that I could say that is because it just depends on the person. Some people are going to stay so long in a dynamic that's seemingly excruciatingly painful. Others will end it very quickly. Like there's just so many different dynamics and flavors. Questions that I like for this are, who am I becoming in this relationship? Am I becoming somebody that I'm proud to be becoming? And that's not just what I'm learning, but it's also what's happening in my nervous system. Like yes, I may be learning great things, but my nervous system is getting wrecked over time. Like and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Or does this relationship provide enough foundation that, yeah, we have battles sometimes, but we're working through them. Um, when to break up? There are some fundamental red rules that I'm just never okay with in relationships. And if they're getting broken and it seems that they can't get resolved, the relationship probably needs to end. Um, threat that there are constant threats upon the relationship. I'm going to break up with you. I don't believe we can ever get through this. Just things like that. Never okay. Super, super wrecking on the nervous system. Number two, and any one of us may have done any of these at any time, so there's no shame. But if they're happening, it's a sign that probably like we need some major reassessment. Number two is no character attacks that are intense of like attacking who the person is as they're being, you're an idiot, like, you know, shaming, attacking, like those need to get cleared. Um, just generally not trying to work through major mental illness or extreme dysregulation only within the partnership is really important. So, like, really important to have third party support if somebody's working through PTSD, just mental illness of any kind, um, just really intense healing of any flavor, or going through really intense stuff in life. A partnership can't hold that alone. Your partner cannot effectively hold a space that can hold you through that. They can be an amazing support, but they cannot hold all of what that healing process asks. And if a partnership is holding that expectation, it needs to get reevaluated or it needs to end because it's going to wreck both people. Um, yeah. And the last one is not withholding, not punishing your partner if there's extreme instances of punishment. So it's like I will pull back my anger, my love, I will pull back sex, I will pull back like it's okay to take a break and a pause anytime to take care of you. It's not okay to be like I'm now pulling back things that you love to punish you. When there's cycles of punishment in a relationship, that is a sign that something needs to end. Um, do those make
Thank
sense?
you. Yeah.
So,
I guess I'm thinking, when if you're going to try to adopt some of these and use this framework, um, probably is going to rock the boat and cause some, new feelings to come up,
yeah.
and new conflict potentially too. And like, I guess just knowing that, okay, we're going to hold on for this rough bit and see how everything falls after that. And if we're moving in the right direction, it's a great sign. But if it seems like we go through this big process and then we kind of just the other person falls back to their habits, you fall back to yours, then that's a pretty strong signal too.
Yeah, are we finding moments of like relief and new levels of intimacy, I guess. Yeah. Is this taking us in a place that we feel like we're popping into something different? Um, is a good one. Let me feel if there's anything else that I would say about that, like when is enough enough? Hmm. I think that's what I got.
Well, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go back in for the end and then we'll take questions. So the last piece is around inner transformation. So how do you hold this inside of yourself? So the avoidant internal work is healing. I'm avoiding my own feelings. So there's numbness. It's like it's unnumbing. I don't think that's a word, but um, avoidance transform when they learn how to turn towards internal sensation and start to uncrystallize and unfreeze their system so that emotion can start to move through them and anger, sadness, fear can actually move. Then there's such a bigger feeling of safety and much more feeling of safety that I can bring that to the connection. Um, Being able to stay present with discomfort, learn that feeling does not equal annihilation. It's a big one. Like I can feel and it doesn't destroy me. Step by step of I can open 1% more. As avoidants get better at this, they can start to bring smaller things in real time that allow tweaking the relationship that help them to feel safe. There's a fundamental experience of I get to take up space here that avoidants start to learn with their own feelings and bringing. Um, Generally, when avoidants are learning to feel feelings, they really need somebody to support them with that. There can be experiences that can help avoidants to touch bigger feelings, like cathartic experience. Um, Plant medicine can be amazing for avoidance learning to contact feelings because it provides a glimpse. It's like, oh, there's a there there. There's something to be with down there. Oh my gosh, like that actually something has been bridged. Um, MDMA in particular, psilocybin too. I mean, any really, but MDMA can be really great for avoidant to like start to recontact the body and heal any shame that's there. Um, Big kind of group containers, and there's lots of different flavors of those. Hoffman process is a cool one. Um, if you want to go like a neo-tantra route, ISTA, Institute for Sacred Temple Arts, it's like a big sacred sexuality container. That's going to bring stuff up. Um, or just, working directly with a professional can be great too. But things that provide an experience of, oh, I can actually contact something here. And then learning how to be with it. And then over time, taking the risk to bring it forwards in relationship. Anger is a huge doorway for avoidance. What do I have an anger? Do I have a no? Oftentimes, avoidants weren't allowed to exist, which means especially they were trained to only say yes. Avoidance can have a very intense mask of yes, of course, I'm fine. How are you? Yes, of course. What do you need? Yes, of course. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm totally good. Don't worry about me. Like really strong mask. And sometimes it's so strong they don't know it's a mask. It's just they just feel like it's just who they are. And there's a ton underneath that. And generally anger is a very big doorway because anger carries a no. So avoidance learning how to contact your anger is really valuable. That it is a life-giving energy that can move through me. I have power. I can claim this space. A lot of the safety that avoidants long to feel comes when we contact our anger and our fuck no. Because that capacity to like have space and protect gets bigger. Um, hmm, yeah. Anxious internal work. Uh, Another thing I would say about avoidance is learning how to unwind dorsal vagal collapse is a big one. Um, you'll get the nervous system training. So you'll know more of what I mean by that. But learning how to unwind the experience of collapse and getting small and doom and despair through the body is really, really valuable. So that avoidance can start to like know, oh, I'm shutting down and I know how to like turn my engine back on. I know how to come back alive. Anxious work is the work of how do I regulate my own activation and break the story of the projection that safety is out there and somehow it's going to get resolved by not like, fixing or controlling this person in some way. So there's a discovery of who am I and what other relationships can hold me? What is my web? What is the spider web that holds me? So it doesn't get so fire hosed into one person. That's what we were talking about, like dog, tree, friends, ocean, like like food and restaurant, like a restaurant you love that's just like a sanctuary for you, library, like what are the spaces and places and people and animals that like create a sense of, ah, okay, exhale, safe here, held here. And especially for anxious folks, it's understanding that beneath all of the grabbing and like I'm gonna do something out there, there's an experience of fear right here. How can I learn how to be with the fear or sadness? Hmm. Anxious folks sometimes benefit from like playing with life purpose a bit too. It's like, what am I about in my life? Where's my connection to like the contribution that I want to make in the world? And if that feels really big and triggering for you, don't worry about it. And like if that feels exciting for you as a doorway, something to play with, right? It can be a way of like, this is something that I am about that is independent or individual from any other person or thing. This is how I create, being in contact with my creation energy. All right, last little bits, and then we're gonna do questions. So I'll send to you all my Sacred Agreements template, which includes a piece on mapping with your partner. Okay, when I'm triggered, this is what it looks like. When I need help, this is what helps me. Hand on my back, 20 minutes alone, breathing alongside me, whatever it might be, cooking for me. To create literacy when you know your partner's triggered and you can both hold for each other. And sometimes you won't be able to, right? Sometimes both people will be triggered and it's like space. We don't know how to work this out right now. It is always okay to take space. It's an important relational rule. Always okay to take space. It's harder for the anxiously attached person, so it's important to have a timeline on it. But it actually can be helpful for the anxious person too if they can learn to see the doorway in it. Like if you can learn to see the doorway of, right, I do need to actually come back into contact with me because I'm getting so in the idea that it's something over there that they need to do. And sometimes there may be shit that they need to do, and that's real. But there is also a shadow pattern, right? And it's like, okay, I have to untangle, like, so that I can come back home. And taking space can help with that, even though it may not feel good. And there's a both and there. The avoidant partner needs to learn how to lean in too, and that's real. And that's a valuable edge for an avoidant partner. It's like, I'm going to lean in more this time, 5% more, stay a little longer. There's a way this is all kind of dog training. Nervous system body training. Like, oh, okay, we did it. We did a thing. Rest. Try again next time. Okay. One last thing. So this is the next Fierce Love training that we do, aside from our coaching sessions, is going to be on polarity and kink and contacting your dark side and your power. Um, I love every time I say this, and in any group, everybody's faces go, hmm. Yeah, it's super juicy, and there's a ton of power in this work. So it's like, what is awakening and shadow work and kink and sexuality and eros all held together? Um, so just as like a play, I mean, we'll go into a lot. It was like how do we set the frame so that we can do it in partnership? But just as like a little play here, if we are taking these roles, the polarity of anxious avoidance, somebody's going to leave, somebody's going to devour me, we can turn those into scenes. We can turn them into playful Eros experiences where all of a sudden our body has a really different experience of, oh my God, somebody's devouring me. Right? Like really different flavor. Um, so like anxious wise, it could be like, I'm gonna fucking tie you so you can never go fucking anywhere unless I give you permission. You will only do what I tell you to do. It could be, I'm gonna leave you. You know, like I'm gonna walk out on you this time. You know, I'm gonna tie you and then I'm gonna walk away. And you're gonna have to like beg to have me come back. You know, like um I'm gonna punish you for how you leave. Like any one of these can be a doorway of play. And obviously all this comes with consent, right? The distinction between a kink container and like just trauma is one of them has consent. You weave it together. And there's all these, you know, there's like red, green, yellow that like allows people to say, okay, I'm feeling a little flooded. Okay, wait, I'm back in. Like, you know, there's we set up the frame. But that's like the lightning path through this is like how do we turn it into the most game, into the most fun? And kink this also has the path of like most risk, you know, because you're going very fast. So you could hit a spot very quickly where it's like, oh, wow, that hurt a lot more than I expected it to. Yeah. But this is an arena and we'll talk about it next time. Yeah. And same with avoidant. It's like you could devour me. And I could have a really different flavor of that. Um, I could get to like dominate you and shut you the fuck up. You know, like for all the ways you come at me, you know, like um yeah, I could like get to experience letting go of having to hold myself so rigidly and you hold me. You know, like the tying is maybe instead of like it's a tying of like feeling all the ways that I'm so tight and actually feeling like, oh, maybe it feels good to be held so tightly. Yeah, so many ways to play. But just want to throw that in here as like many options to be with all of this. Um, yeah, let's take a breath together. Ah. Hmm. Hmm. Questions, comments.
I have something.
Yeah, Lindsay,
Um,
I can take the recording off.